Joey Speziali, also known as Kiro Karopi, is a competitive Super Smash player. He is currently the best player on the East Coast and has placed in dozens of tournaments nationwide. Joey, those who don't play video games may be unfamiliar with Super Smash Bros. Can you explain what Smash is about?
Sure thing. So Super Smash Bros. Is actually a game series. It's for the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo GameCube, the Nintendo Wii, and then the 3DS and the Wii U. I played the first one of the series. It's for the Nintendo 64. But what they all are about is you have all of Nintendo's main games, such as Pokemon or The Legend of Zelda or maybe the Mario Bros. And what Super Smash Bros. Does, it takes the main characters of those games and puts them all into one game. And it's a fighting game. So you have characters like Mario or Pikachu that would never be in the same game, and they are now, and they're duking it out.
So, is this a game you would typically play on your own or with friends?
I'd say that the majority of people that play this game, they play it casually at like parties or gathering of friends and whatnot. But there's a huge competitive scene to it as well. Obviously, for the newer games, the competitive scene is larger. But despite the first one, the one that I play, coming out 15 years ago, there still definitely is a competitive scene to that.
So, how common are the tournaments among Super Smash 64 players, what you play?
There are good years and there are bad years. It also depends on the area. If you're in a populated area, like a city or the East Coast or the West Coast, tournaments are definitely more frequent. I'd say maybe like once a month. But if you're from like the Midwest or somewhere in the center of the country, it wouldn't be uncommon to have like a tournament every 6 months or so. But that's also like recognized tournaments I'm referring to. Random game stores.
Recognized by who? Is there a committee or something? Or?
Just the community in general. It's like if there's a random game store in Ohio and has a Super Smash Bros. Tournament that nobody really knows about, nobody's going to really consider that a tournament because there are legitimate tournament rules that people play by. And unless a tournament abides by those rules, it's not really considered an actual tournament. It's more of a casual thing.
So you living in New York, do you have to travel far to get to these tournaments?
I actually lucked out. Most of the main tournaments, I think, are held in New Jersey, for Super Smash Bros. 64 at least. So I'm maybe traveling 2-3 hours to the larger tournaments. But I love the game, and I go to as many tournaments as possible. So it's not uncommon for me to travel several hours for a tournament that's out of state or even out of country. I've done that numerous times before.
So what's the incentive? Is it just for fun? Are there prizes involved, cash, anything like that?
There are prizes involved. It's you win cash if you win tournaments, but if you're playing Smash Bros. Competitively, you have to put hundreds of hours of your time into it. And I don't think I can think of someone who plays the game for money. Everyone who plays Super Smash Bros. Plays it because they love it and it's fun to them. I don't think anyone's really getting into Super Smash Bros. To make a living out of it or any of that.
So when did you fall in love with Super Smash?
Well, I got the game when I was in 9th grade, and I just played it with my friends. Like I was talking about earlier, just at parties and when people got together, we'd play. And then I found the community. I was talking about how they have like recognized tournaments and stuff, and that immediately caught my attention because I always thought I was like such an amazing player. And then when I found all these other players, I found out how bad I truly was, and it inspired me to get better at the game. So that was 2011 when I found the recognized community, and I've been playing ever since, trying to be the best player in the world.
Best player in the world. Is that your overall goal with all this?
Well, I have several goals. My goal is to be the best player in the world, but it's more than that. I really want to change the community for the better and be a positive role model because when I first found out about the community, like I said, I thought I was really good. So I talked a lot of trash, and it was rough for me in the beginning because everybody hated me, but I worked towards becoming a better player so I could be acknowledged. And I want to be an inspiration to people that are bad. And like I want to prove that and nobody can become the best player in the world.
Well, you're already one of the best players on the East Coast. You've placed in dozens of tournaments nationwide. How has the competition been? Like, you're already fairly successful with the game, so how much further do you have to go to be the best?
Well, there are 3 main scenes, I'd say. The United States, Peru, and Japan are definitely like the capitals of Smash of the world. The U.S. is actually the weakest. So I'd say I'm like the 5th best player in the United States. Other than Isaiah, he's from California. He's the best player in the world. Excluding him, the 2 or 3 or 4 players that are better than me now, they're not that much better than me. I'd say I'm probably going to be better than them in the next year or so. But the players in Peru and Japan are leagues ahead of the players in the United States. My plan is to be the best player in the world by 2017. But that's going to take a lot of hard work, and I'm going to have to train more than I do now because my current training habits aren't gonna work.
Well, can you go over your training habits? What's a typical training session for Super Smash? What do you do? Do you play against friends or the computer?
Well, I play very differently from most people. Super Smash Bros. 64. A lot of people don't know this, but you can play online through an emulator on your computer.
Can you explain what an emulator is? I'm not sure.
You just run. It's like you run the game on your computer, and it's almost identical to the one on console. And most people play like that because, like I said, if you're not from a city or like a very populated area, it's hard to find true competition. I got fortunate. Most of my friends are really good at the game, so I don't have to play online. I'm actually the only. And like it sounds bad, but I'm the only like good player who doesn't play online. So for me, I just play with my friends and I'll play computers. But I'd say generally speaking, most people play online.
Say I wanted to start playing Smash. I just picked up the game and I want to play competitively and get to your level. What advice could you give me to get to that status?
Well, I'd say the first thing you want to do is go on Smashboards.com. It's kind of the home of Super Smash Bros. And it's filled with people like me who are very knowledgeable about the game, and they're all very helpful. After that, you'll eventually find yourself on like a Facebook page or some sort of social network that allows you to meet and play with players in real life, and that's really important. Surrounding yourself in a group of people that play the game will definitely help you get good fast. What I've always said is that above all, if you've got a really good attitude, like you really want to improve and really work towards being a good player, I think that's the most important thing. The number one thing that holds people back is themselves, and I think if you really want to be a good player, I think anyone can. I think anybody has the potential to be the best player in the world.
That's great advice. Super Smash 64, good clean fun, good people. Try it out. Thanks, Joey.
Thank you.